eyeball is watering right now. Just one second.
But this is the first time for everything on the show. I got the go ahead, and then instantly got the wait. So you all are gonna have to wait 1 second as y'all come in before we do what we gotta do tonight on this show.
All right, I'm back.
Oh,
I'm
she's
back.
back.
I'm back.
Oh, we ready too because we hit the live button.
Okay.
But it's all
Yeah.
good. It's
That's okay.
all
I'm back.
good.
I'm
There
back.
you go.
I'm back. Here we go.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, it is that time, Sunday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're here at Big Gold Belt Media because we're getting ready to jump into our live show talking all things power. This is episode 9. We're close to the finale. But this one certainly as hell felt like one because this was a lot going on. But yes, this is episode 9 of season 2 of Power Book for Force, titled No Loose Ends. Y'all know how we do on our live show every Sunday night. We have a special guest, and truly tonight, I'm very excited for this one. I joke all the other previous weeks about losing my position here at the show. I feel like I may be in limbo once again. I gotta watch who I bring on here. But nonetheless, I told you all each and every week we're going to continue to collaborate with the best, the most talented content creators in all things power. And if you ain't keeping up with her content, I'm gonna advise you right now, before we even get started, right in the comments, in the description, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe right over there at that channel notification bell because I bring to you all the host of Chronicles of Power podcast, which is brought to you by Private Listed. She is none other than Keemie. Thank you so much for being a part of the show tonight, Keemie. How you doing?
Mhm.
I am doing wonderful. Oh my gosh. I feel so terrible with the introductions that I do for other people now. I normally let them introduce themselves, but now I feel so bad. But
It's
hello,
all
everyone.
good. No, thank you so much for being a part of the show tonight. You are extremely talented. Looking at just the work you do, and all of the social media, shall I say, too, because if it ain't YouTube, if it
Mhm.
ain't IG, just the professionalism in the interviews, just the questions that's being asked, the talent that you go after. I love that you go after writers. I love it. I love it. Everybody wants the big, attractive actors, but
Mhm.
I love the fact that, and you anybody that's a fan of mine know, I love me some writers when it comes down to power. And the fact that you give them a platform to do what they do, along with the cast members as well. Let me make sure you put some respect on that too. But I do love like you love all things power to all degree in every aspects of the production. So having you a part of this, it feels like home, which is why maybe I'm not going to be a part of the show much longer. Maybe you and Lucas just takes it
No,
over.
no, 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 no. There's room for everyone. There's room for everyone.
Uh, but in case I didn't dot my I's and cross all my T's, please take a moment to just let the fans know what you do, how long you've been doing it, and obviously things you got coming down the pipeline.
All right. So I work for the media company. I work for a private listed, and we do a lot of things. But specifically, our little baby right now is Chronicles of Power. We do work with rap, sports, entertainment in general. But for right now, we are definitely focusing on Chronicles of Power. We are huge power fanatics over there, and I know earlier you said that we're bringing the writers on, and I feel like it was imperative to bring the writers on this season specifically because of the writer strike, right? And then as a
Mhm.
result of the writer strike, we also have an actor strike. So there are reasons why I cannot have actors on the show anymore. So normally I would have actors and writers or just any participating member of the cast crew, similar to how the crew has it, right?
Yeah.
Where they brought
Yeah.
on people from the shows, but we were doing it before then. I don't want no trouble, but similar to that. But I wanted to make sure that everyone from the universe has a voice, whereas sometimes you're not able to see the actors, and maybe everyone doesn't follow all of the other podcasts that are focused around Power, whether it be the original Power, whether it be Ghost, whether it be Raising Kanan, which is my favorite, by the way. Raising Kanan is my favorite of all of the extra
We
books.
back December.
December, I cannot wait. But
Yeah.
in addition to actors and writers, we want to make sure that we have stylists on, that we have other people and extras and people who just go into making the show what it is, because it's not just Tommy's pretty face, right? There are other people that are back there, and we get a lot of feedback from a lot of the extras on the show and people who you don't necessarily see in bright lights. So
Yeah.
I love that we're able to have the writers on the show, and this week we're actually going to have the writers. So it's two people. I know you probably only see one name on the screen. So I believe his name is James Slayman.
Okay.
He is the writer for this episode, but he also has a co-writer. She wrote episode. If I get this wrong, guys, I will correct myself. But she also wrote an earlier episode this year. Her name is Terry Kopp. So
Yeah.
she's going to be on the show with us along with James this week. We record this week, and then once we get everything done and edited, you'll all see it and see their process. You'll hear about their backstory. One of the good things about, and I won't take up too much time with this, but
Hey, we're here for you.
about having the writers on is that they tell us how they got into the business, what they were doing before they were writing, the steps that they took. And not everyone has a pretty road of making it to Power. We know that Power is a huge force, especially no pun intended on Stars, right? We know that it's the biggest show that they have, the biggest shows that they have, plural now, and it wasn't easy for everyone to get there. And it's not like 50 just goes and handpicks people to put them there. They've worked to get to these positions. So, for instance, Terry Kopp, she was actually, I think she was a public defender before starting writing. Also, we had Lamont Edwards on. He wrote episode 207, which was directed by Robert Townsend. He was like an AD before going into writing, and he had to find a mentor to try to find his writing voice, and making sure that he had something substantial to submit to a show, and to make sure that he does have the right writing style for TV. So if you have not watched before, and you've only, because I do reviews too, so I do reviews, and then obviously I interview people from the show. So if you haven't checked it out, please do so. We try not to be too long-winded, but we do have a lot of content to get through.
I got a lot of comments here. First of all, long-winded. We just banged out a 2-hour recap last week, so we can't talk. And I just want to say to the fans, we love you all because they was here for it. So we appreciate that y'all stuck around for that long one, because I was fried rice afterwards. I was so tired. I was just done.
Not fried rice.
They finally may have been right. I may have fallen asleep during the recap. You'll never know, because I'll never admit it. But it was a long recap, and we used to try to keep these to an hour. That went out the window about 3 years ago.
Wait, so for episode 8, you guys went 2 hours?
Yeah, it was a lot.
What were y'all talking about?
It was a lot. I got to go back in the notes. I'm trying to remember some of the things we'll talk about tonight, but I definitely will tell you why. There was a lot of little things, and I think it was really based around picking up on Tommy's paranoia. I think the whole episode was really focused on a lot of his peeping over his shoulder, a lot of uncharacteristic movements by Tommy that we haven't seen since Power. And and I just, I wanted to make sure that we gave emphasis to a lot of those little small things that folks may not have been picking up on. But I just want to quickly say 2 things, and I'm gonna give it to Lucas. Number one, definitely want to give you your flowers for what you do, because much like us in this very unprecedented year, we wanted to figure out different ways to create content to highlight all things Power. This is why we say we're going to make sure we collaborate with other folks, because we want to have other folks come on our platform, and for them to get the recognition that other folks may not be aware of, and vice versa. Because in this unprecedented year with the strikes, a lot of folks says I'm not covering Power, which I hate. There's a lot of good folks that I thought have been covering in the past that says, well, if I can't do the interviews in the caliber that I used to, well, I don't want to cover it. And thus, while we need to rally more around in a time where the actors can't promote their own work, folks decide to say, well, I don't want no parts of it. So again, I want to commend you and your team for stepping up, cranking out more, giving an opportunity and a platform for the likes of writers, the likes of extras, all the other folks that's behind the production, so that folks are aware of these folks, their hard work and their road to getting to where they're at. And then the secondary thing I want to make sure, as I always do before we get started, is this is 209, folks. No loose ends. Directed by Lisa Domain, one of my favorite directors now, and written
This
by
is our
Terry
second
Coop.
episode this season.
Yep, episode 205 and 209, bangers of episodes, and James Slayman, as you mentioned earlier. So, with that being said, y'all know what it is. Lucas is going to cook up the 3 hot topics, maybe more, of what you all have been talking about. So, Lou, I give it to you. Let me know when you want to go to super chats, and then let's do what we do.
Well, first we're going to start off with the biggest. I'm not going to even call it a question, but the biggest statement made this episode, and that is R.I.P. to Grandma. This was a character, Abuelita. This was a character that people absolutely loved and was waiting for her to actually take control of everything. And for her to die the way that she did in this episode. I'm going to start first with you, Keemie. I'm sorry.
Keemie. So,
yeah.
One, I knew something was going to happen to her, but only because, so like, there's something that happens online. I don't know if I should say this. You know what? I won't say it. I won't say it. But I've noticed that if someone is going to die from the show, they don't really interact with me that much. So wait, before that, I'm trying to say this with a straight face. The little boy who plays Leon, right? His real name is Cayenne, or either Cayenne or Cayenne, right? And I used to tag him because, I post. So in addition to the interviews, we post the pictures from the episode prior to the episode coming out, so that to give people a sneak peek of what's to come. And I'm tagging these people left and right, right? And nobody, they don't like the post, they don't repost it, they don't put it, because they can't really do too much with it because they can't promote, right? But hopefully, you can sneak a like in every now and then, be like, oh, thanks for posting, thanks for promoting the show. But when I see that people don't do it, I'm like, oh, they gonna die. Taking a pat grandma up out of here. So once I saw she didn't interact with the post, I was like, oh, she out of here. And then and then for Leon, the same thing. But for him, I was like, maybe it's because he's underage. Maybe he's not running his account. But then I was like, whoever's running it, they have to see that I tagged them. And no one ain't come over. So I was like, oh, they about to kill Leon too. And then I was like, oh no. So I'm sorry. I just had to give y'all that insight. When I see people don't interact with the post,
forensic files of power.
I was like, oh, they about to pat grandma up out of here. So, but in terms of the scene, that scene was crazy, right?
Yes.
So, wait, did y'all see the pictures of the guy holding on to the Miguel like this?
Nah,
Wait, Diamond is holding Miguel up under his arms. No. But yeah, so I wondered though. I was a little concerned about her dying so quickly, because I wonder what it would have been like if she was around for a little more, because she gave a lot of tidbits and dropped a lot of seeds for Miguel to follow, right? She told him, be careful of Tommy. And he was just like, oh, but no, he saved my life with the Serbs. He helped us out right there. She was like, no, but he's going to do X, Y, and Z. I think he's going to try to take over, and you have to be careful of that. And he's like, oh no, I'm ahead of this. And one of the feedbacks that I have from Miguel's character is just like, he always seems to be, or he thinks that he's one step ahead. Meanwhile, Tommy and Diamond are like 3 or 4 steps ahead, and he's just catching up. So he messed up in terms of the Serbs running down on him. Like, how, I'm going to try not to jump around too much, but how are the Serbs operating like this?
Dog,
they burned down the project. They burned the gallon down.
Man, listen.
They lifted up a gate, right? They was having a whole powwow. They lifted up a gate, came to
Yeah,
the
no.
game and left. What the hell is happening?
Listen, the Serbs got cheat codes the way they operate. The fact that like the task force never ever put the Serbs on their radar. Like they just went through the project, shot it up, and they were just like, Tommy.
Stacy,
like the Serbs, they brought war to your territory. Like, what's happening here?
Stacy and her 227 wig, only talking about Tommy every week. Every week I want Tommy Egan. And these people that did so much stuff in the city, and all we talking about is Tommy. Like,
yeah.
What? But yes, so Abuelita, I'm sorry guys. I had to get that off my chest. Abuelita, she told Miguel about all of these things. And Miguel was warned about going to war with the Serbs by Che. So, and I think that he's not taking heed to a lot of the feedback that he's getting, whether it be from Che or whether it be from his grandmother, who you can see had a pretty strong arm in how she raised him and was probably pretty influential in his life. My fear, not my fear, I think my frustration is, if she was supposed to be this strong character and this person who molded him into the monster that we know, why did she have to be let go or taken out so soon before we can actually get to know more of her story or know more about her and see more of how she maneuvers throughout the cartel?
Yeah, a lot of my same sentiments. I'm gonna go to a couple of super chats real quick because they've been sitting here. So first off, the homie HFG, I love that you're doing these lives this season. It's perfect timing because this is definitely the best fourth season thus far.
I agree.
Thank you so much for the $10 super chat. And yes, I agree. So I'm going to take that $10, take it to the bank, and cash it right in. You are on the money there. DeMarcus Bond with the $5. Which sex scene was the worst? Stacey Marks or Bobby DeFranco or Sax and J?
Oh my God.
DeMarcus
he wanted violence every time. Every time he wants violence.
Whoever you are, please, we need to chat because I hate sex scenes in Power. Oh my God, yo. It bothers me so much. Every week I'll be like, yo, here we go again. Like, especially if it's like something that I don't need. Like, for Stacey, did I really need to see her have a sex scene with DeFranco? I didn't even need to know that they were husband and wife, honestly. They didn't even have to be. They didn't have to be.
They need to play it up just a little bit more.
Why?
Tell me because why. Like, and like I'll give it to you, Lucas, on this, but it's a dynamic we haven't really seen on Power. First of all, Bobby being a legitimate cop, that's not a thing.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's a legitimate cop with his wife, which you say you want to, I guess the wife aspect work is because that shows you like his sense of conflict between work and home.
He shouldn't be on that task force if that's his wife.
He said that. He said there's no reason we should even have one. He could handle this, which is like, okay. Yeah. This is a little bit of friction that's going to start going on here, but I'll give it to you. But I just want to quickly read out the rest of these super chat. Power is fire, my homie. Appreciate you as always. DeMarcus Vaughn. I hope the finale is 1 hour and 5 minutes, which means we'll go for 3 hours, so you don't have to worry about that.
I can tell you how long the finale is going to be. Hold on.
Ayo Productions.
Y'all keep going. I'll tell you how long it is.
With the $2 super chat, we about to lose 2 Flynns in one season. That is a bold prediction there. I'll talk about that later. And man, oh man, oh man, we need a Lucas tap that clue bomb real quick. Eric Iverson,
$100 super chat.
Okay. $100 super chat. Sup, fam? Random question for you all three, and we're definitely going to answer this right now. The crew has said certain actors refused to come on the podcast and basically went ghost after they left the show, like Angela. So many questions does it surprise you all how unclose these actors are? in Power. I'm gonna drop the chat so we're not covering her face, but we're definitely gonna answer that. Lucas, you haven't had no
Oh,
mic time yet, so I want you to
see, that's
go
an easy
for it.
one. That's an easy one to answer. Why would they be close? It's still a job. Like in the end, this is the job. Like when I'm on, I'm on. When I'm not, I'm not. It's a job. When you see all of
Yeah.
these shows, these television shows in the world, I don't know why we expect the Power actors to be closer than, let's say, Grey's Anatomy's actors.
I was gonna say The Resident.
Or yeah, wow, The Resident, or any of these other shows. I think, especially for the cast of the OG series, they're so far removed from everything at this point. They're like, you know what? That's a great thing. I loved it when I was on it, but it's not a part of me anymore. Or I was getting underpaid when I did it, and I wouldn't appreciate it. So of course, I don't want to talk about it anymore. That's the case with the head actor of the OG series. Like, he doesn't want to talk about it anymore. But that's the case for them. So no, it doesn't surprise me that they're not overly close. But the younger people in the Raising Canaans, the Forces, the Power Book Ghosts, yes, they're gonna have a little more of a connection to one another because they go back and forth on social media. They're younger kids. It's a completely different generation than those older character actors who got in on the original Power series.
Yeah. Go ahead, Keemie.
I'm gonna take the fifth on that one.
Yeah, I will say. Let me see. Which route do I want to go with this one here?
The fact that you have to do that should let you know you should have said nothing.
Yeah, nah, I'm trying to keep it 100. I will say that I agree with Lucas 1,000%, and I think the folks that you see on social media that hang with each other are in fact friends. So they translated their working relationship to actually being in-person friends. The folks that you don't see are probably not friends or probably have different, shall I say, treatment.
Here you go.
Different treatment.
You ain't got to go that far. Let's put it like this.
Yeah,
you saw Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan. How many championships they won with each other? How close are they in real life? That's your answer right there.
I don't know if it's that deep though. I think Lucas, what you said initially, that it's just a job.
Yeah.
I think
it's a job. And it's perfectly fine that it's a job.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get close with people, sometimes you don't.
Yeah. I definitely know. I'm trying to make sure I don't got no paper trail here. I definitely know and have been told that the show was fun working on it. Afterwards, it was like everybody scattered and went their own ways. Everybody wasn't so loving when it was airing or when they were filming. So it's a job, and I think you hear that across the board. I mean, granted, I think the real big case in example is like Power Rangers. Those folks were together for years, and now you see them in conventions, and they're not even next to each other half the time. And
well, that's because they was making $5 an hour.
Well,
there you go.
They're disgruntled.
Well, they're getting the residuals now at those cons. They're making their money, but still, like, yeah, I just think like, everybody's experience is just going to be different. Some folks are just after the work was done, we were done. So, but I know, Eric. I know we try to make sure we give you love here. Yes, we want the community to be as strong as the cast and actors and the showrunners and the networks and the 50s who's just on the other side of all this. It's never all going to be aligned. It's going to be what it's going to be at some point. So, and 50 complains like every week. So that should be like the prime example of like, it ain't always a walk in the park here with it. But I really appreciate you, Eric Iverson. We have another super chat for AO Productions. Bobby and Stacey romance is like the Tetris. Oh, I know you love this one.
That is so disrespectful. Stacey and her 27 piece is nothing like Olivia Benson.
They actually had
that we're not gonna do. Like, no. I mean, while it's an interesting dynamic for Power again to have the DA and the lead detective be in a marriage and conflict with one another because one is clearly kind of on the more crooked side, the other one is trying to be as straight and narrow as humanly possible. That's a different dynamic that we haven't seen in Power, but that's disrespectful to compare them to those two cops. The dynamic is not even remotely close to being the same here
at all. at all.
Oh man. But yeah, I guess to your question though, like grandma's as it and Keemie, I fully agree with you. There was a lot of potential to keep her around.
Yeah.
It felt very premature. And they always talk about, and I forgot what director said this to me, but and I guess this kind of goes across the board, but when you have a death, it's always about the payoff from the death. I don't
Yes.
see the payoff from this because Miguel has been irresponsible before and he's going to be irresponsible after. That's just what it is. She was supposed to be the moral compass to him, keeping him on track. I mean, uh, if she is everything that they say she is, and everything that he is because of her, having her around longer makes more sense to kind of have tuned him up to be this killer, this boss of this cartel, like. And then the other aspect that I was really buying into was, and I'd say this like a couple of shows, is that Che gave so much respect to her about everything she's done for the family. As I mentioned at the quinceañera, how they sat at the same table. That's a sign of respect.
Yep.
Calling her queen, talking about all she's done beforehand. There was a lot of momentum built up for her to go and die in a car from a character that was introduced by ballet, now going off the drive by herself and get killed. It doesn't even make sense to me at all. And matter of fact, it's as smart as she's been about check over your shoulders. You can't trust him, but she's just like, oh, okay. So wait a minute, he's not here. He's supposed to drive. The car's just randomly here. I'm just going to go in it myself and drive. None of these other soldiers are going to step up to drive her. As I mentioned, if she died the way she did, another soldier should have also died. They both should have been getting in the car. There's no reason she was getting behind the driver's seat. She's the top dog. She would never move by herself, ever. Especially after the services went after them. And you just let her just go off by herself. Absolutely not.
In your car.
Disgusted by how that went.
Yeah.
Yes, with your car, a marked car that
your
everybody know. Disgusted by how they played that out. I hated it.
Oh my god. I can't wait to ask the writers about that. You are upset.
You took that personal, like that was your grandmother in that car.
Gosh.
I don't know, man. I was about to join the car. She was selling me up, man.
Should Diamond been holding you up too when grandma died? So he could prop you and Miguel.
They was holding you.
All right, on to the next question that everyone is asking, and that is the big one for the episode. And that is that now that Tommy knows that Vic is the snitch, what path will this lead Tommy down? I'm gonna start with you first. Nagier. We're gonna have our guest finish it out second because I already look at her face. She like, I got something for this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna be short here. I think Tommy's completely flabbergasted. Like he cannot believe that this could be a thing. But maybe a little part of me thinks that Tommy may have a little bit of remorse for him. He doesn't seem like he's on demon time, which is interesting. Like he seems like, but he doesn't seem like he's on demon time. Like typical hothead Tommy, blown up. Like I'm going after him right now. I mean, he looked more like a okay. Let me see this out a little bit here. So I think we're going to see an uncharacteristic move of Tommy and not cancel Christmas just yet. I think he probably needs to get a little bit more intel before he just makes a decision. Old school Tommy would have followed him. That scene would not have the episode wouldn't have went off right there. Tommy would have pulled up behind a drive-by. As soon as he got in that car, that would have been the last we seen of Vic, and so on. So I think there may be just a little bit of with this one. And dare I say, do Tommy at all look at Vic and think like, I can groom this kid, or I can turn him into something? Do you think there's any bit of him looking at Vic thinking there's potential at all? Is what I'm wondering. I just think the gears are turning in Tommy's head before he's ready to pull the trigger like he typically would. That's just how I see that. But what about you, Keemie?
So to me, Tommy is a little all over the place this season, right? In terms of the Tommy that we've known, maybe this is just an uphill battle in his character arc, whereas he is turning into something that we don't know because old Tommy, or the Tommy that we know, there's no way that Tommy would have just asked Vic, to prove you are not a snitch, you have to kill him. Tommy would have never done that. So if he had a gut feeling to stay back to see what Vic was doing, obviously he knew that Vic was up to something. I'm talking about, this is a scene from 207 where he follows Vic after they get out of the car. He sees Vic talking to Agent Vargas and then tells Vic, "Oh, are you a snitch?" And Vic is like, "No, I'm not a snitch. It's not me." And he says, "Okay, well then, if you're not a snitch, you know how you prove it, right? You got to kill him." How does that prove that he's not a snitch? Right? And then after that, they look for a tracker. And where do they find the tracker?
It's so so wild. It's so wild.
Car,
What do we have here?
Look, you thought I was the snitch? I wasn't the snitch. But look, they are tracking me, right? And I'm just like, that doesn't sound like Tommy. So, but look, hey, I'm still rolling with it at this point. But now that he knows that Vic is the snitch because of the scene with the telephone, and he was hoping it was Shanti, right? Like he thought it would be her.
Yeah,
he was positive it was going to be her. And then he finds out that it's him, and he's just like, cool,
flabbergasted.
I'm collected. No, he's not even flabbergasted. He's like kind of calm about it. I actually
I
thought he was gonna lose his shit when once he found out that it was Vic, right? Because one, he's been blaming it on Jannard. He kind of thought it was gonna be Shanti, but now that he sees it's Vic, it's like, oh, okay. How do I want to play this? And maybe this is him transforming into the ghost of Christmas past, meaning him turning into Ghost, being a little bit more pragmatic and thinking about the bigger picture. How could I use this person who is betraying me to further my end goal? If that makes sense.
Yeah. One thing I will comment too is that he definitely believed Jannard was the snitch, but he needed Shanti to be the snitch because he didn't want to mess up his relationship with Diamond. So while he has sort of a mental plan about how this is going to work, then Vic comes out as the wild card, like, oh shoot, what am I going to do now?
Yep.
So like, I agree, that shot, and I thought it was a really dope shot at the end, but like, let's not forget, Tommy has no problem with losing his cool, and he definitely was very much like okay. But, and I also think on the other end too, even though it's not really shown in the scene, I guess a little bit of just like predicting, it's also a little bit of a sigh of release, because I also thought that he might have been a little paranoid about Maria, where he's just like, you're asking about my ex. But he definitely had to have his antennas up, like, okay, you're asking about my ex. The feds came to see you.
He doesn't though. And that's the thing that's blowing me away. I'm like, so wait, you have a new chick in your bed. First of all, can we just take it back a little bit? Everybody, I keep telling people, think about the timeline here. We are only like a month or two removed. Well, maybe 3 months now removed from everything that happened in New York. Ghost has still just died. He just faked his death. Liliana, all of this stuff just happened. A year did not pass yet since that happened. He's still fresh in Chicago. We've lost Daddy Flynn, Uncle Paulie, all of these people in a span of 3 weeks? And all of a sudden he has a full-fledged relationship with the Mexican plug?
He's a sucker for love.
He doesn't even suspect that she's the one that that could possibly be doing this? And she's like, oh, well, the AUSA just paid me a visit. Bro, if the AUSA just paid Shorty a visit, why are you just so willy-nilly wanting to talk to her? What, because her brother is the plug?
I mean, and that's why I said, and I can't remember what the comment was, but I said when he was embracing her, they zoomed in on him and his hands on her back, and I know she had like some tied up, back in the back of her shirt, but I'm like, to me, I thought that was just him feeling around to see was there a wire or
That
something
wasn't
on
it.
her.
No, that wasn't it.
But I'm like, they put
he doesn't
way
think
too
she has
much.
a wire at all because he bought her. Where they trying to go? Where they want to go?
I can't.
Was it Barbados?
They want to go to Barcelona.
No, Barcelona.
Barcelona.
Is that how you buy tickets? They didn't come through the mail like that? I was definitely like, wait, what?
Yeah, I've not seen a ticket like that ever through the mail. That made no sense to me.
I'm confused. But like,
but
even if that's not
Tommy,
what happened, they just zoomed in on it. So it led me to think that there was some play on that scene in terms of why they had to show his hands on her back the way he did. So not on her butt. I mean, it's Tommy. He could have been grabbing that ass, man, but he grabbing her back and kind of feeling around like, is he looking for something there? But
he's looking for her bra. That's what he was looking for. That's all they care about is getting this.
He's trauma bonding with her, and that's Tommy's thing. That's Tommy's MO.
Yes, so that
he's trauma bonding with her.
They are trauma bonding,
and because of that, he's completely thrown all his trust behind her. Because part of him is possibly thinking, with your brother being who he is, there's no way you would flip. You have too much to lose. That's a stupid way of thinking about it. That's a Tommy way. At this season, that's a Tommy way of thinking about the problem, is that you have too much to lose. I can trust you. When it came to what was going on with him and Vic, I swear it feels like Tommy is still regretting that he attempted to give Vic and Gloria that happy ending and it went bad. And because it went bad, he partially blames himself for it going bad. And that's the grace that he grants Vic for some odd reason. It's partially because of Gloria and because he blames himself for what happened to Gloria. Because if you think about it, a lot of that happened because of Tommy. So he blames himself for it. And he saw Vic as being a casualty to it. So that's what made him go out his way to throw faith behind Vic. Because at this point, he's thinking, out of everything you've been through, there's no way this could be the snitch. And we already know he can't have it be Jannard because it complicates things with Diamond. He needed it to be Shanti. When he found out it was Vic, his mind, instead of going to the way Tommy normally thinks, which is, I need to kill him and get this over with, it went to, let me see how I'm going to proceed with this now. That's the look he gave her when she got that information. How do I proceed with this now? And that's not Tommy. That's not Tommy's way of thinking. And I only think he thought about it that way because it was Vic. And the evidence of it is earlier this season when he thought Diamond was a snitch, he put a gun to Diamond's head and said, are you a snitch? He was going to kill Diamond because he wasn't sure he was a snitch.
Yeah.
Yes, but that was never the case with Vic. And I think that's part of the reason why that's not the case with Vic, is because he blames himself for Vic not having the ending that he feels Vic deserved.
Okay, I'm going to push back on that. Only because he was sleeping. Wait, he did not kill Gloria. The daddy killed Gloria.
No. Yes.
I cannot believe Vic is driving himself crazy over this woman who slept with Tommy, and he is like talking to a headstone every time he gets a chance, and blew his whole family apart for a woman that your father killed because, one, she was Black and he didn't want her to carry on the family name. So I understand his beef with his dad. But that same woman, once y'all were on y'all little break, was just like the new guy that came in town to try to pepper pot soup. She was already down for him. So relax. How are you going to throw your whole life away for somebody that was just like, peace? Your dad said we can't be together. All right, no problem. I'm going to just go with this guy over here. The next new hot white guy in town, that's my zhuzh. That's what I'm going to do. And this is who he's like blowing the world to shreds for.
If we think about it, we just had Tommy cry over Holly, and Holly was a horrible person.
A terrible
and he on his knees. She was in her second trimester
Well,
Fairmaster's a pregnant
well, yeah,
ghost.
he just
Like,
cried
it made
because she
no
was pregnant.
sense. Yeah,
So
like it was. I think it's part of the issue with these men and their connections. And this is Tommy always blaming himself for stuff. It's something that I think in the original series, Ghost did bring up to Tommy about you blaming yourself for things that really have nothing to do with you. But because Tommy feels he interjected himself into that situation, he blames himself for it. Because we remember
Tommy,
just before Gloria died, what did Tommy say? Like, I did everything. I got your happy ending. Down to the point when Vic was going to snitch on Tommy, he went to Gloria's grave and said, I know Tommy attempted to help us, but I still have to do this. And I think that still resonates with Tommy that I attempted to help you. Like, this is something I wanted to do for you, and it backfired.
yeah.
And unfortunately, some people blame themselves for things that have nothing to do with themselves.
can we talk
Tommy,
about how stupid Vic is? Like, I just before we get to the third time, I want to talk about like how much of a ditz he is. Vic had a whole Diana moment. Was it? Is her name Diana? Diana? What's Monet kid's name? Diana, Drew, and Kane, right?
yep.
So
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Vic, instead of saying get me a lawyer and sticking to that, they tell Vic. They tell Vic the whole reason why Vic is snitching is blowing me away right now, right? They don't have no physical evidence that Vic was in that fucking apartment. I'm sorry, can we curse?
Yes.
All the time.
They have no physical evidence that Vic was there. And Shorty is just like, oh, but I want to give up my sister. So let me just okay, I'll cooperate because I want to get rid of my sister. What? What? Then they're like, well, we don't want your sister. We want Tommy. The
the
girl already
issue
told you Tommy wasn't there. And he's
the,
just like, okay, well, I'll give you Tommy.
the issue with Vic across the board is that the show has not played up, and it's because Walter's exit was too fast, if you ask me. Maybe one or two more episodes. They did not play up Vic being young-minded, immature, irresponsible. They just wanted to give him the keys to the whip so quick that you thought like, Devlin, this is in Devlin's prophecy. This is in the Flynn's prophecy. Vic is the next one up. So you start to think like, all right, well, if he's the next one up, then he's gonna be the man. He's gonna run stuff. Like, no. Vic is immature. He's young. Yes, him and Tommy are about the same height, but this is a young boy right here. He's fourth in line. Paulie has a better chance of running that organization than Vic ever could and should. Hell, you might even throw Paulie's crackhead's son in there before you could throw Vic, because Vic is just off of it. He cannot handle anything. Let's not forget that Vic also caught the head in the liquor store. He will never ever be able to live that down for me.
Another weird scene.
But we've pinpointed already that Vic was never a good leader. He had no chance of being one.
Yeah.
But he knows that too, right? And
Yes.
he's honest about that. And that's not really what he wants. He's only doing it because of the patriarchy standards that they have within their world. He's only doing it because of what his father expects of him. He knows that Gloria is smarter than him. He knows that Gloria is probably more, excuse me, not Gloria, Claudia.
Yeah.
That Claudia
Gloria was too. She was too. It's fine.
He never even tried to rule to spite Claudia. He just really knew he could not be a leader, but he just keep getting put in situations where he typically had his dad to bail him out or Claudia to kind of right his path. But now that those resources are gone, we see this kid out here, and I'm going to keep referring to him as a kid because that's what he is, making all of these terrible mistakes left and right, to the point as the viewers, we kind of looking like, what is this man doing? Well, I guess the answer is, well, what could he do if he's never had this type of on-job training at all? He didn't know how to call a lawyer because when he had gotten in jail before, Daddy called the lawyer for him and got him out.
Did everything.
So now he's just lost at sea. And maybe it's best for him to be in WITSAT. Maybe that's the only way that he gets a good ending here, because at this point now he has no references, he has no lifelines, he's done. Unless Tommy decides to take him in shelter and create a new path for him. But other than that, I don't know what's next for Vic, man. But it ain't looking good. It ain't looking good. This is a lone puppy out there, and he's a stray puppy with no home.
So are you saying right now to me that Vic is so simple-minded that he doesn't even know to call a lawyer. That's
Yep.
the reason why he just decided to turn witness for the state.
Yep.
All right. I'm gonna go with it. I'm gonna go with
There
it.
you go. Hey, that's all.
I'm gonna go with it.
Vic.
He didn't
Vic
know to call a
is.
lawyer because he hasn't been a criminal. His father hasn't been grooming him to be a criminal this entire
Yep.
time. So he didn't know to call a lawyer. Even though he said, I'm gonna get a lawyer, and then just was just like,
And then
oh,
flipped it
never
away.
First
They
48 is
gave-
on what, the like
I'm about to
20th
say.
season?
I'm about to say, yep. She gave him the burger and the Coke, and he let everything go. That's all it takes. That's all it takes. If the first 48 didn't show us anything, it's a bunch of dumb criminals out there that don't understand the situation that they're in.
I know.
And Vic being the James Harden of the Power universe and constantly making mistakes over and over and over and over again, and thinking all of a sudden it'll work out perfectly fine.
Because
This
he
is why
the
he's in the
system,
boat he's in.
honey. He's the
There you
system.
go. There you go.
DeMarcus Vaughn with a $5 super chat. Claudia got to survive the season of Force because she is the female version of Tommy. I'm gonna need you to prove that one, sir. Need you to prove that.
Because she's
Wait,
white?
hold on. Who's
I'm
the female
confused.
version of Tommy?
He said
Claudia.
Claudia. I'm confused. Because she
Claudia.
white?
Yeah,
Why?
yeah.
Why?
I mean,
Can that
not at
person
all.
right back in
Not at
and
all. The female version of Tommy died at the finale last season. Her name was Liliana.
Yeah.
Why does everyone think Bobby's a good cop? It will be a great plot twist when we find out who he really working for. Wait for it until season 3. I mean, well, we want to throw conspiracy theories on that because this is the first time we've actually had a good cop, so everybody can't believe it. That's the twist.
Nah, he's
really
good.
the twist.
He's good. He's good.
His wife crooked. He's
His
good.
wife is crooked.
The wife
He's
is crooked.
His wife is
Yeah.
crooked. He's good.
Yeah, and on top of that too, like just that alone, she's crooked, he's good. If he was crooked, they would just be on the same page. There would be no conflict. It'd be a whole different story within that task
He'd have
force.
been all for her setting up Tommy in every way humanly possible.
That's true.
At every opportunity.
Yeah, those bogus arrests she tried to pull. Can't do that.
Yeah, and he stopped her.
Yes, he did.
And he said, "I'll offer myself up as a witness for the defense."
Can't get more.
How the hell are they still
that.
married? How you still married?
I don't know.
Like we together forever, Jada. You can't just turn around and then tell me you're gonna turn on me. Like it makes no sense. How are they still married? Or why are they married? That he can openly tell his wife, if you do this, I will become a witness to put you in jail. And her just say, okay, let's have sex with sister. Like it makes no sense. It makes no sense.
Eric Iverson with a $10 super chat. Was it me or was Tommy annoying at the funeral trying to impress Che? Also, do you all think Diamond leaving Jamal's body in the water is good rather than bury him since his hands was on his neck? So, I give it to you. You take that one.
Huh?
Go ahead. You take that one.
So, well, did they leave him? We don't know. Maybe they went back.
Yeah.
Maybe they went back. It's power.
Everybody has been handled this season by them. Shall I say? Except for
DNA
Jannar.
evidence doesn't exist in power.
Yeah, and then
It just doesn't. I hate to tell y'all that we saw Jannar literally kill someone with his bare hands, and they don't know who did it.
And with the seatbelt.
They don't know who did it. Like they like, oh my god, his body just ended up somewhere.
I'm so glad I have somebody because normally I be talking to myself when I do the reviews, right? Where his grandmother went?
Yeah, exactly.
The whole thing about the cauliflower ear. Where she went? It was just one episode. They said we're not paying this lady no more.
Don't even get me started on that one now.
Bobby gave her the inline when he said, "Yeah, we went to her," and she decided not to say anything. What?
budget cuts there. There's no reason that shouldn't have been this. That's the first thing I said on that episode recap. I said that is a missed opportunity to not have that scene played. We should have seen that easily. The way how Grandma was bossing up those other scenes. Oh, they definitely gypped us by not having that interaction between her and Bobby. They probably filmed it too, just didn't make the cut. But
the other thing with that was I thought so. Remember how they focused in on the cookies that she gave to Jannard? I was like, "Ooh, did she suck the cookies?" Yeah, but
Okay, we're on the same page because that's what I
but
thought.
in terms of the water, so the reason why they left him in the water is because the water is supposed to wash away whatever evidence there is. So that's why they left him in the water.
Baptism is how I saw it. He freed that man's soul.
I could, yeah, because we could get grotesque in explaining exactly how that works and why you do leave bodies in the water, but we're not going to do that because then you all tend to ask questions when I talk about stuff like that. So we
Yeah.
just
We will leave it alone.
And then the
we
other
gonna
part
leave
of
it
the
alone
question,
completely.
the other part of the question is, in terms of Tommy is annoying trying to oppress Che at the funeral. No, this is very on par. He did the same thing at the quinceañera, so he thought this is my way in. This is how we rock. So I'm just going to do it again. But again, they both, as Diamond said, were completely not the right place, not the right time. He definitely was doing the most.
Yeah.
So yeah, optics, it looks bad, but from Tommy, he's like, man, this is the relationship we got. I'm bringing this man money. I can approach him any given time. You ever work at like I don't know. You ever had a job and you had like a hookup or something like that, and people just be so hot at the hookup instead of just playing it easy? Like that's to me what it is. Like, bro, if you know, like my man used to work at Popeyes back in high school, right? I come through when I'm at the drive-through. Don't be on there ordering anything. Just pull up to the window, make sure I'm there, and roll out. Don't ask no questions or nothing like that. Don't be asked for anything extra. Just get your stuff and go.
Right.
The one time you try to take your relative with you, they in at the window talking about, hey, ask them nope, let's leave. Nope, you can't be
Asking
doing
me curry this instead. Asking me got this instead.
Yeah, nope, you
Every
blowing the
time.
spot, man.
Yeah.
So the reason why it's necessary for Tommy to be this extra is because he knows he's not going to get an in like this again at any other time. This is prime opportunity for him to introduce himself to the Connect and for him to prove his value in the organization. So he knows that Miguel is not just going to offer him up and because there's a pecking order. Miguel is not going to say Tommy is on par with me, because to Miguel, Tommy is just a worker. A good worker who is a producer, but not someone that is good enough to be on par with me, like how the Serbs are, because like we saw, him and the Serbs are fighting over territory. And he wants to make sure that he's keeping the pecking order solidified, so to speak. But we have to keep in mind what we heard earlier in the season. Don't you get tired of being at the top of the bottom? So Tommy has to continue on his plan to further himself in the organization and making sure that he becomes what he was in New York, in Chicago. So that's why he has to be extra and do things like that and make sure that people know who he is and what he's doing for the organization.
1,000%
The
agree
more
across
extra
the
you
board.
are, the more attention you get, the more people will remember who you are.
Closed
That's
mouths
the key
don't get
part of
fed.
it.
There we go.
Hey, perfect way to put it. Closed mouths don't get fed. And speaking of that, let's get to our last.
Hold on. I got to clear something up for
waits.
hold on. I got to
swear
clear
he
something up
waits
for
to do
Eric.
this to me.
Hold on, let me clear something up. Hey,
Okay,
Eric,
okay.
listen. No. Your questions are not done, my friend. Not at all. This is why we're all here. It's community. We ask any questions that get answered. Your question, my friend, is not done. Just like my man Sam said, don't take it personal, bro. No one's dumb. And Sam runs the biggest Instagram account for power.
Is that Sam, my man? Is that Sam from Power
Yes.
Fire?
Yes, it is. That's a cosign right there, man. So if Sam's saying it's good, Eric, it's good, bro. And we saying it as well too, man. There's no dumb questions. Everybody.
Why would you say that, my love? We just talking.
Yeah, he might have not been talking about us, but I just want to make it very clear that it's not by no means, my friend. Hell, Eric, just last week we were about to offer you the position, Lucas' position on here.
Wow.
On that note, too, let me get right back at you. Was it me or wait, we already answered this one. I'm sorry. Yeah, it was another one that came under this one. This one right here. I'm sorry. DeMarcus Vaughn. How is Liliana the female version of Tommy when Claudia smoked Liliana and Liliana was a liability to Tommy? Tommy wanted to smoke Liliana in power. Okay.
Okay. I'll let you go first and then I'll go.
Nope. I'll go last here. Lucas, you can take this one.
Okay.
Nope.
Okay. I know that the question is blocking my face, but if we could just put it up one more time for me so that I can see it. Okay, so I'll tackle this. The reason why Liliana, I don't think she is necessarily on par with Tommy, just in terms of how vicious he is, or how sociopathic he is.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the one thing that Liliana does keep or does share in terms of a commonality with Tommy is just how business minded she is.
Yep.
Everything is centered around how do we get the business to keep flowing. Emotions not involved. We are just going to keep the business going. It doesn't matter who loves who is having an affair with who. Because remember, even
Mm-hmm.
Tommy's like, he still loves Ghosts, right? He still loved Ghosts. He still was selling, even though they had their brotherly fights. They
Mm-hmm.
headbutted each other. They were fucking each other up in that apartment one day.
Mm-hmm.
And he still, after he's done, he was like, yo, I still gotta go sell what I gotta sell. He's still business minded in that sense. And that's how Liliana was. Whatever, even if she didn't get along with all of the people in the crew, or she didn't necessarily like how things were going, she still was able to uphold her end of the bargain and produce what she needed to produce. And that's where I feel like her and Tommy are the same. In terms of her being bodied by Claudia just got, she just got the better
She's
of her.
got a shot.
It was a
Yeah.
she had a better shot. It's not that she's tougher than Liliana. She just they were in the middle of a shootout and she just caught her, and that was
The,
it.
the word is lucky.
Yeah, she was
That's it.
lucky.
She just
I
was
mean,
lucky.
I don't really want to call it lucky, but yeah, she was lucky. She just she had an opportunity and she took it. The same way how Tommy normally has opportunities and he takes it.
Yeah.
The same thing happened with Claudia. Claudia is a vicious bitch. She's not a slump. And
Yeah.
everyone will tell you that. Her father knew that too, but again, because of the patriarchy and the way how it was set up, she just couldn't take over the position because the father wanted his namesake or the
Yeah.
bloodline to continue from throughout his son. And that's
Yeah.
it. Otherwise, like Claudia is pretty formidable, but so is Liliana. And the reason, and the last thing, the other part of the question, the reason why this is like bringing it full circle right here. The reason why Tommy wanted to take her out in the first power was because they thought she was a liability. She just got sliced in the face. And for him, she's a loose end,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
and how look at this, no loose ends, and here we are again. But I mean,
Yeah.
That's
she
an
was.
amazing time there.
I know it's amazing. It's like she was a loose end for him in the first one,
Yeah.
and Ghost let her live, and she ended up not causing a problem for them, but she could have. And right now, I'm afraid of what that means for Vic because it's rubbing me the wrong way that Vic is still alive. From that Vargas scene, I didn't that really irritated me, and I don't know why everybody's just like, oh, that's just
Yeah.
it's just how it is. But I'm just like, he should have never made it out of there at
Yeah.
all. And Vargas, I'm not even gonna start. But go ahead. But next one, I hope that
Yeah.
answers your question.
Yeah, and I'm right behind you with that. The only thing I would
Yeah.
also add is just like he really respected Liliana. I
He
think
did.
for the first time in a very long time did he look across and says like this person gets it. Like this person has lost things, lost like I've lost. This person is cut from the same cloth. I trust this person. I respect this person.
Mm-hmm.
This person gets it without even having to turn an eye. If you ask me, he may have trusted her more than anybody in force across the board, more than Diamond, more than Jannard, definitely more than Jannard, Vic, anybody. I think that Liliana was absolutely the person that he says, I trust you 100%. So I think when you think about the comparisons, I think Tommy respects anybody who mirrors what he does. He says she got the same ethic and drive that I do. I like that. I respect her. And I think more and more in season one, when he started to see more and more who she was, I think he started to see a lot of himself in her. And I think that's where they grew this bond, which is why let's not forget that he was definitely, all right, this is a funny comment. He definitely was on a season-long mission that only lasted 2 episodes to get revenge.
For Liliana.
No. So I'm gonna stop y'all right there. Yes, they mentioned it earlier, but they're gonna. I'm telling you, episode 10, they didn't just mention that for no reason. They had him snot, like I'm very congested right now, but they had snot coming out his nose, tears, talking to himself, hearing voices. That didn't happen for no reason. He's gonna get revenge for this girl. And whether it happens this season or next season, it's gonna happen because remember, they always put crumbs in and they'll lead us to it, and he is definitely gonna get back whoever did whatever they did to Liliana. So Claudia is the one who did it. He's gonna get her back one way or another. I know we're at episode 9 right now, and it's like, when is this gonna happen for us? But they don't put that in for no reason, and they stressed it.
And
there's definitely two
DeMarcus,
things I'm waiting to find out about.
And DeMarcus, you put it perfectly with your follow-up comment. You said Claudia is a business-minded, emotionless psychopath. None of that describes Tommy. Tommy is full of emotion. He's a psychopath. That's the only thing they have in common is that he's a psychopath. But the emotionless part that you believe that is Claudia, that's not Tommy. Tommy reacts fully off of his emotions. So he's not emotionless. He's very emotional and he reacts off of his emotions, which is not a bad thing at all. But that's what makes Tommy Tommy. And that's what separates him from Claudia, because at least to your perspective, Claudia is emotionless when she makes business decisions. I'm going to say she's not, but I can understand how it could come across that way. But if you do believe it comes across that way, you're kind of pinpointing why they are not alike.
I think Claudia has emotion. Her emotion is centered on penis and me, right? Because of the whole thing of how the men who surround her in the line of business that she has, how it affects her and how it affects
she feels something.
She got daddy issues.
It's not necessarily daddy issues in the way how we normally define daddy issues, but I think she has.
It's definitely daddy issues. Like she wants acceptance from him, and he don't give a fuck about her. I wish I could make the Walter Flynn accent.
I don't. So like,
who the fuck is this Claudia?
Yeah,
you'll never be a Flynn.
I don't think that it's daddy issues. I think that it's more like even when we had the writer on, who like we say that it's penis envy. We don't think that it's about daddy issues. Maybe she's trying to prove herself to her father, but she didn't really have to, because he believed in her. He knew what she was capable of.
Depending on what day of the week it was. Some days she was just like, no, you can't run stuff. You're not going to do anything. You're female at the end of the day. Vic is going to do all these great things. You're not.
She ran all the books. She kept all the numbers. She did everything within the organization. She just couldn't be out on the street with the boys, but she did everything else. I think, and that frustrated her. She wanted to be treated like one of the boys, but he did accept her, and he did know that she was the smarter of the two of them. It's just that whatever validation
left for nothing too.
She did get validation from him in terms of how she operated their business and running the books and those sort of things. But what she wanted to do, he wasn't keen on letting her do it because of her being a woman. So that's why I'm saying I don't know if it's necessarily daddy issues the way how we normally define it. I think it's more of the patriarchy of it. I know I keep repeating that, but that's really what it's centered on.
Yeah,
and the sexism and misogyny of it.
Yeah, the Irish bloodline, all of that applies. I think when you take that away for just what's happening in Chicago, he never wanted to even mention or even try to create a path that was even going to lead her to lead the throne. I mean, even Brendan for a moment looked like, I mean, after he got pussy whipped, looked like he was ready to figure it out. Like, all right, maybe I can just go back and do something. Right. Yep. But like, yeah, I mean, yeah, I think there is like a slanderous way of saying daddy issues, but I do think, but at the end of the day, her dad not ever being in her corner was definitely an issue that she struggled with this entire 2 seasons. Is that we all knew what was up. But even when he knew, he still turned a blind eye to it because Vic is going to save the day. And that's all he could ever continue to repeat. And at the end of the day, too, I also think like he loved her, but also she was still a woman to the point where he was just like, I would never let a woman claim my throne and let the optics of what that looks like to the folks outside. Never, ever, ever. So I think there was moments of suppression in terms of her getting her shine. Like she was making money. Let's not forget that the Flynn's were having financial issues, and Dahlia could have definitely had them on the up and up. But my man says, well, the Titanic would sink before I let her captain it. And certainly it did.
It certainly did. Oh man, Dahlia was a very funny storyline.
Oh God,
that lasted
I'll
all
come
of
back
1
on
year.
another day and we can talk about Dahlia.
Exactly. But let's get, as we are over an hour again, but let's get to our final topic of the show, and that is Maria turning against Miguel and siding with Tommy. Do you think this is going to lead her down the path of all of Tommy's women? We know how it always ends with Tommy. Do we think this is going to be her path now that she's made this decision?
Who's gonna go? who's gonna tackle this first? Lucas,
it's on you. It's on you.
Okay. Okay, so I'm actually kind of annoyed about this because I'm like, you've known Tommy for 3 weeks, and you're gonna sell your brother up a river. This is the person that you've always known for this random person that you just met. And you heard about Lakeisha Grant because Messy Boots came over and told you about her. And now you're just going to be like, all right, let me go run to my man and tell him that my brother is going to kill him. And let's go away to Barcelona. She's not making it. Like, even if she makes it to next season, she's not going to make it out of here. Unless, I mean, they're going to have to kill Miguel if Maria survives. Yeah. Because there's no way that he's going to be okay with her just having lovely rendezvous with Tommy. So I don't think I think she'll make it throughout the season. I don't think we'll see her die, but I don't see Tommy having a love interest for long. That doesn't serve Tommy's story properly. Like his story is not one that I see someone riding off into the sunset. And he has admitted as much throughout all of the time that we've known him. It's just not in the cards for me. Even though he wants love and he wants to be accepted by a woman and possibly having a family, I just don't see that happening with Maria, considering the tension that is brewing now between him and Miguel.
Yes.
Because I like Maria, man. And Maria has a steep hill to climb here. Something I was thinking about earlier is how grandma was so like attention to detail in terms of everything that Miguel was doing, that not once did she ever fully, maybe she did, but this is why it was short-lived or prematurely lived, shall I say. Never did she express any concern to Maria in terms of you watch out as well too. Something grandma would have picked up on by weird interactions and whatnot. But Maria has a tough hill to climb. The biggest obstacle happens to be the one person that Tommy's never going to replace. And it's been 6 seasons of Power, 3 seasons of Ghost, 2 seasons of Force. That's Kate Egan. That's his number one lady. Doesn't even matter how good of a woman that Maria is going to be. The fate always ends the same. Kate, number one, girlfriend gone. So no matter however she wants to play her cards here, it all leads down the same road because Tommy's never going to change. Kate's always going to be there. That mother-son relationship is never ever going to
mother-son relationship.
Never going to change. Always going to influence one another. So Maria just happens to just be the next one to be served on this plate. Now, the other small interesting thing is, at what point does their relationship become a liability to CBI? And that's where I'm kind of on the edge of my seat wondering, like, how does this play out? Because Tommy has not been himself, as you mentioned, Keemie, and everybody in the comments, hopefully you all has known this entire season. Tommy has not been himself. And him being in love does not serve the organization good at all. And honestly, if you think about the story arc of Tommy in general, Tommy, all he ever
never
wanted,
does.
It never does. Because you know why? Tommy can't have the two things that he wants. He wants to be on top of the chain. He also wants to have family. Well, one's going to have to go. And he's going to have episode 210 to figure it out. Which one's going to mean more to him?
Oh, man. Hey, as they say, once you get to the top, you have to make that decision. It's literally was the ongoing theme for Ghosts. You can't have
Absolutely.
both.
And what did he
You
tell
gotta pick one. You gotta be the family man, or you gotta be the guy in the business.
And what did he tell Tariq? Now when we keep trying to figure out what's going to make him go and tell Tariq something that we know is actually happening in his own life, to me is a sign of like, listen, man, this happened to me, bro. Don't let it happen to you. You're going to have to pick one. You cannot have both. He would never have said that if successfully works for him. By testament of what happened with Ghost, by what happened to him, ultimately leads him to tell Tariq, like, listen, bro, 0 for 2 on this trying to be in the drug game and having a family. It ain't happening, bro. It ain't happening. So that's my thing. It's like, it doesn't serve well for Maria, man. All roads lead down the same path. As long as Kate is around, and as long as Tommy's still desiring the same things, it's just not gonna work. It's the same cycle over and over and over. Shout out to Raina 2.0.
Thank you. I was about to say.
You brought up a really good point just now about Kate's relationship with Tommy. Actually, their relationship this season, I'm sorry guys that I'm so congested, but their relationship this season has been extremely eye-opening for me, and it was actually pretty frustrating to see how he treats his mother, considering that she's trying to I know that this is the word, but she's trying to make amends with him. She tried to stop the drug use, and she's an addict. So that's not something that's extremely easy to do. You don't just stop one day and then have someone continuously give you cocaine or like put it in your face and just be able to say, no, I'm not going to do it anymore. And I'm like, why is he being so mean to her? But in the same vein, I do say, okay, well, he's scarred from what happened to him as a child, whereas his mom left him because of her addiction. She's used all of the money because of her addiction. And I'm like, does he not recognize that that's what was happening? But just to bring it back to the point of Maria, there's no way that his love, he doesn't have enough love to share between Kate and another woman. And I think that's where I'll leave it at. And I think that's probably why this is how I've been able to answer my own question. The reason why he's been so mean to her is because he does want to push her out of his life, meaning Kate out of his life, in order to make room for another woman or for another love.
So that serves two questions I'll throw to both of you all. Will Tommy do the one thing that he's never done, and that's pick his relationship over his mom? And I don't care what no one says in the comment. He's never done it. Not Lakeisha, not Holly. No. He's always tried to have them both coexist. He's never, ever picked anyone over Kate. Maria has picked Tommy over her family. Would Tommy do the same? Would he do the same? That's the biggest question. And if he does, what does the fate looks like? And then the other thing I really quickly say, and I think Lucas, this might have been a point you made a couple of recaps ago, is Kate was using coke sort of like therapeutic for everything that she's been through. They did a really good job this season into connecting us with all of the trauma, everything that she's been through. Now, Tommy ain't just the plug that got it. Tommy is trying to ensure that she stays in that mental prison, that she never escapes it. He's always keeps her under control by doing that. As I believe that's what how you worded, Lucas, which I thought was completely brilliant. Is that he doesn't want her to get better, because when she does, he can't control her. Yeah. He can't have her operating the way he needs her to. He has to keep her in this mental prison by enabling her with the drugs, which does help her in the fact, but she's looking to get out. And every single time she tries to escape, Tommy puts her right back in. That's why he didn't let her know about the fate of D-Mac, because he knew where she would go back to. And if she didn't go back to it, he'll ensure that he gets back to her regular pattern. So it's a sad story. Honestly, you look at Kate's story over all these seasons, it could bring you to tears. That like, man, this is the mom that's really, really been trying. I know y'all say she's a terrible person, but she's been trying.
Think she is. She's been trying. No. I don't think that she's a terrible person. And I don't even think I don't think Tommy's interactions with her are about his control of her per se. I just think he does what he thinks she needs and what he's used to. Hey, you like to use drugs? That's how I can bond with you. You know, like how we say the trauma bonding that he's doing with Maria. Mm-hmm. I think his bond with his mother is her drug use, and he is the one that provides it for her. whether or not he uses it, maybe it is a form of control. If I can like extend it out or flesh it out a little bit more, maybe it is a form of control in terms of her just staying away from him, because he knows that once she goes on those benders that she won't be as involved in his life as she normally is. She'll just pick up and go and wander off and go on her drug use journey. So maybe that is the type of control that he has in terms of getting rid of her. But if she's sober and she wants to be active in his life and active in her grandson's life, and she's telling him, hey, I don't want to use that anymore, he's just like, what why not? But he keeps forcing it on her because he doesn't want her around, and maybe that's his choosing, right? Him choosing for her to just get lost, and maybe he'll be able to make his own way without her and without her influence on him or the woman in his life.
That's a good point to make there, because that's part of Tommy's issue with Kate, is the point that, one, I've always believed Tommy is most comfortable with Kate being the parent that he knows. And the only way she can remain the parent that he knows is if she's on drugs. If she gets clean, that mirror will reflect right back at him, and he's not prepared for that yet. So he needs to keep her in a state of mind, just like, unfortunately, addicts do it all the time. This is an ongoing story. That's why I love the storyline with Kate. I know people who go through this exact story with their parents. At times, you need to keep them exactly where you're most comfortable with them being at, because if she recovers, that's a completely different person. And Tommy's not ready or at this point willing to deal with a clean Kate, because a clean Kate is way more open-minded about things. And then they're going to have discussions about Tommy's past, because that's part of getting clean. He said it earlier this year when she was in AA and she was trying to make amends for things, and he made it perfectly known, I don't want to deal with that at all.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that ended on a depressing note.
I know, right? Oh my God, that was a good one.
And honestly, we shouldn't feel this way, man, because they really gave us a lot of Kate this season, and really told her story three-dimensional. So like, there should be a lot of conversations about not only what Kate means as a character to the audience, but what does Kate mean to Tommy as the main character for the show? We have to understand, what does that mean in order for us to understand what's up with Tommy, what's up with her, what does family look like? And I think another thing too, you keep her in prison because the moment she does get free or clean, she leaves, and then he has no family again, because everybody else is gone.
Oh no,
he doesn't have time.
He was becoming jealous of her relationship with D-Mac.
Oh, well, yeah. That's we talked about that.
I mean, that's a whole other hour conversation. We're gonna have another day about dealing with parents and their grandkids, and how you have to deal with that. This is not the parent I dealt with growing up. How are you
Mm-mm.
better with them than you are with me? And
Yeah.
that was Tommy's issue.
Well, she's trying to redeem herself.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And he's not willing to accept it.
She saw what she did. She knows,
Mhm.
again, the reason why she came to you to apologize is because she is accepting accountability in this
Yes.
situation. Although her apology wasn't long-winded, it wasn't wordy, it didn't have all of the layers that maybe a child like Tommy or an inner child like Tommy may have needed, but
Mhm.
she knows that she did something wrong, and she's looking at DMAC as her salvation, right? As someone to
Yes.
right her wrongs. He is in the flesh, a person where she can right her wrongs, and to see and to be able to I guess relive everything that she did wrong
Yeah.
before with her two sons, giving up her black child and still taking the white raising the white one, but still having a rough go at it. She was only 16 years old, and I think
Yeah.
one of the things that Power is honing in on, but like in a tongue-in-cheek way, or not just like in an in-your-face way, is how do we give our parents grace? Do we
Mm.
give our parents grace? Are we in the stages of our lives to understand, like, hey, Ghost may be a drug dealer, but he really just wanted the best for Tariq. However I may feel
Yes.
about Ghost, I thought Ghost was a horrible person, right?
Oh, welcome to the show.
Right?
Oh man, we did not get it good. We got to cross the chin a couple of times for saying that. You are not
Yeah.
allowed to talk bad about
Yep.
I,
Ghost.
Mhm.
I couldn't stand him. When he died, I was like, yes. Right? but
Man,
like, I think Tariq, or even maybe Diana, Kane, and Drew, or any of the other children that we see throughout the universe, are they able, Tommy including from where we started,
Yeah.
are we able to give our parents grace in terms of how they raised us? What demons were they fighting, and what uphill battles did they have to go through in order to raise us? And I think that a lot of the kids, or a lot of the offspring in the show, they aren't able to give their parents grace because they're so consumed by everything that they're going through that they're
Mhm.
just not in the stage of their life to understand all of the things that their parents were going through. So hopefully we'll be able to see that with some of the people here, or at
yeah,
least one of
Yes.
them. Hopefully we see something between Kate and
Monet.
the other.
That tends to be the one that looked like it would pop as Kane and Monet. Yeah.
They have it bad. They
Yes, they do.
they
Mhm.
have it bad. And Monet should have died, right? Yeah. Do y'all agree?
nah,
Oh,
the show needs that star power.
I mean, well,
I don't
no,
think
no.
so
As a
anymore.
character progression, yes, she should have died.
As a character
But
progression, like, she shouldn't have made it
yeah,
out of that.
Yeah. But I mean, like
it was
that's why
wild.
they did what they need to do. You keep her on the show very limitedly. That's why you wound her and leave her off the show for about 5 episodes there. But she's still attached to it, make it work. But like by the character alone, no matter who played it, absolutely,
Okay,
absolutely.
because let's take out, the per. So I have loved Mary J. Blige since I can't, I can't even
Yeah,
explain
you
it
got to
to you,
give
right?
disclaimers about everybody.
No, no, no.
Don't
I'm
say
just
nothing bad
saying,
about
like,
Mary now. The
no, no, no.
comments black.
I loved. I know I've loved her since I don't even know how long, but in terms of the character, if Mary J. Blige wasn't playing that character, and everything that she has done in terms of killing their dad, manipulating them, doing all
Hmm.
of this stuff, if the character wasn't played by, she's the the biggest star on the show, right?
Yeah.
That person would not still be here,
Mm.
right? I'm bugging.
No, I
It would
mean,
be hard. It would be hard for you to keep that character around
yeah.
Especially
because you would
after
have
the
to
kids already
justify it
conspired to kill her. It's
to
like,
kill.
no, you gotta
Yes.
go.
There's like I see
Now,
both sides to this because like Power writes strong women. So
from a
by way
soap
of her
opera
being,
standpoint, you would keep
Oh,
her
yeah. Okay.
yep,
So,
because it would be the two kids against her and Kane. Because Kane did not plan to kill her. That was Drew and Diana. So it would be the conflict of then where does the loyalty lie at? Because Kane's loyalty was never to his father. It's always been to his mother. but the two
Sure.
youngest kids are to their father. Then you would create that dynamic of a soap opera where next thing
I
you
mean,
know,
it's a
now
soap
it's family
opera.
against family. Yeah.
Oh yeah, well, yeah.
I mean,
This
but
is a soap
it's gonna become all my children. Like I'm just waiting. I mean, Monet's gonna
but it
become Erica
is
Kane.
all my children. It's just with
Yeah,
Joseph.
there you go.
Let me get these last 3 super chats really quick. AO Productions with the $5 super chat. Speaking of the dead, no one will miss Black Seamus. Nah, that's not at all. Yeah, who? Why are
Hopper,
Tommy
who that
and
man?
JP? Huh?
I said,
Yeah,
Hopper, who that man? Nobody remember Black
Did
Seamus.
you wait? Wait. Side note: did you guys watch have you watched Harry Potter?
yeah.
Every single episode, every single movie. I'm sorry.
Every
Yeah, but
so
what?
doesn't the guy who plays Seamus looks like the white actor who plays Seamus in Harry
Seamus.
Potter? There's a Seamus in Harry Potter, right? And he
Yeah.
looks like the guy, like the
What?
kid that plays Seamus.
I can't even
Oh,
read this
shit.
comment because the fact that he called him Black Seamus is hilarious. Hilarious.
He's almost pointing out to you that he does
That's
resemble.
another person who didn't interact with me. Another person. Like when I tagged
And
them,
you knew then, like, oh, you dead. That's why.
I was like, oh,
Yeah.
he dead. That's
Good
why.
riddance. Raina 2.0. Why
Okay.
are Tommy and
You're not
JP
gonna stop.
freaking over Darnell? Seamus has not been mentioned. I mean, okay, I can answer this one really quickly. I'm gonna get to your other super chat after this. JP is trying to insert his presence as a dad, so he wants to be overly responsible about this. And Tommy recognizes that he killed the cop, and that's bad for CBI, which we know Darnell being in close proximity to Tommy doesn't look good for CBI overall. So they're freaking out for different reasons. They handled the situation for different reasons as well too. As we find out in this episode that JP kind of went with Tommy leading, and he wished he had not done that because he thought it was the right thing to do, only to find out that it wasn't the right thing to do. He abandoned his son twice. We'll throw air quotation marks on that.
Yeah.
And now he has to go face Tommy in terms of the decision he made here. But I'll just say this: no one will miss Black Seamus. Raina 2.0. Liliana knows the game more than Claudia ever will. We're going to stamp that one as a fact all day, every day. Here is a very beautiful comment right here. Alexis Brown, 7076. It took a long time for me to give my mom grace. That is absolutely beautiful, and glad you were able to have that because and I will
happens
say
to the best of us.
that's true. That's
I
true.
gave my
And
dad grace on the day he died. Like,
yeah,
it happens that way.
And I will say that Courtney Kemp, a lot of her story is like a moment of like reflecting back to her family and giving them their flowers back. A lot of the stories are of her story. So like, you know, when you talk about the Zeke and the age thing and, you know, the auntie raising the son and so on and stuff like that. And everybody had all these weird questions like how could that be and whatnot. I mean, it's a lot of the reflection of the stories that she kind of endured, which is again to give back to her family for the things they've done for her. And ultimately her being one of the top names and one of the best franchises in all of television. So
I mean, like I know like we on like y'all ain't black, like that happens to family all the time.
Exactly.
It may not be exaggerated, but
did you literally
that raise kids all
it stressed us out for like a month that everybody just kept asking
everybody
about
they were acting like that was just something they had never heard of
something
before.
completely foreign. I mean, like
And I said,
kids
oh
get
man,
sent away to go live with family members all the time. Like, so I'm from Jamaica, right? And we definitely sent. It's not just a Black American thing. Like, just they send people away all the time. You got to go, especially the thing like with Kate. Like,
yes,
her mother is. The grandmother is definitely gonna raise the baby. If you had a baby at 14 years old, she still didn't even finish high school. Like, of course that's gonna happen, guys.
That is your mama's baby. You had it, but that's your mama's baby.
You had it, but
that ain't got nothing to do
baby.
with you. Yes.
So I'm just like, guys, like It happens.
Dog, listen, people love this show. I'm not taking that away from them, but sometimes people love the show so much that they just lose all bit of reality. Like common
Hey,
sense is
I
way,
I tell
way
them all
out
the
the
time, I
window.
can help them out. I got one upstairs in one of my bedrooms that ain't mine. That I swear to God, it is at this point. So you like, it happens all the time.
Oh man. Luke, do we have anything else?
We are done because we are hour and 30 minutes in.
Okay,
Okay.
I'm
People,
sorry I talk so much. I'm sorry.
Nah,
no,
this
no,
is
no.
Blame
This
it
was
on me.
great.
Blame it on
this,
me.
yeah,
This
you
was
good.
absolutely great. This
Okay.
is what we enjoy doing, is going over this, and especially with this finale coming up, we know it's going to be crazy.
Okay. So, what
It's going to be
predictions do you guys
hectic.
have for the finale?
I make no predictions
Okay.
because something we discussed in our recap last week. I don't. It's hard to make predictions on stuff like this when,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. Well, what do you want to see
he
happen?
I tell you, we'll do this. What I want to see happen, I
yes,
really,
okay,
really I need two elements of this season to come to play. Three, actually.
Okay.
I need the Liliana story arc to come to close. I need
yes,
Jannard and Shanti in the picture to come to close. And I also need Jannard looking at the insulin shot to be a factor. Those are the things I need to come in this episode to make sense. Little things that they highlighted throughout
during the season, yeah.
throughout this season that we have not seen come to a close. The whole thing about Tommy wanting to get revenge for Liliana, that just ended at like episode 3, I think. It needs to
Mhm.
exclamation point. I did at one point say that I wanted to see a ghost Lakeisha, but since we got the Lakeisha name drop, I guess that's not happening. So we
That's
got
yeah.
Holly, Lakeisha mentioned. We won't get Cash. He didn't. That man Tommy ain't even
They
mentioned. He
just
had a son out
disrespected
here.
Cash.
I'm
Yeah, they
telling
did.
you,
Just
3 weeks. That's all you need in power time. 3 weeks. You get over everything. That's it.
Yeah, so that's
Cash
kind
gonna
of where
be
I'm
in the
going with
Yaz
it.
book of power. Don't worry about it.
That's right. That's right. Need that. Um, but I want to say this though before I forget. So first of all, Keemie, thank you so much for coming through. We're going to make
Thank
sure we give
you for
you
having me. I love talking about power.
absolutely. We will
Yes.
definitely have that seat open for you any given time. We're definitely going to give you a moment again to spotlight what you're doing, what you got coming up. I want to
Okay,
make
follow at Chronicles of Power on IG. Follow us on YouTube. We are at PVTLSTD. You can,
yep.
if you care enough, you can. I have a IG page as well. It's at Keemie Cakes, but definitely follow at Chronicles of Power. You'll find all of the power content there. I do post some on my personal page, but it's like more of my stuff there. But go to Chronicles of Power. That's where
There
you
you
go.
Yep. And that some of that, or I forgot, most all of it should be in the description. But if not, I know I definitely got some details in the description. I'll update that after this, after we go get off the live.
Yeah.
Announcements from us.
Mm.
First
Thank
thing,
you. Oh, I'm sorry.
episode.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, no,
Oh,
thank you. Thank you. No, don't thank
thank
us.
you
You're
for
not done
coming
yet.
on.
You'll be back. Don't worry. Don't worry. Don't think us like you leaving. We keeping you here. Episode 210 next
Mm.
Friday, 12 o'clock
Jesus
Eastern
Christ.
Standard
Mm.
Time. That episode is going to be available on the Stars app.
And at 1 a.m.
And at 1 a.m., you will see a video of ours available for you all to watch. Unfortunately, that video won't be ready for you. However, a live will be. Because, yes, if you can put the clues together, we're going to do the barn burner, folks. We will be live next Friday, 1 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to cover the finale episode. We will also still be back on Sunday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for our second live show with, well, we're just going to invite everybody that's been through this entire season to come back through for the last
Talk about how
the
crazy the
last
finale
live show.
is.
Yeah, to talk about how crazy the finale is. I also will say too, also, there will be 2 interviews available for you all once the episode airs, but you'll see what those interviews are in about 20 minutes. You'll see who they are and what they are, but they will be available for you to watch after the episode airs because embargoes. So yes, we got
The
a
E
lot of
word that
content
destroys
coming.
all content.
Yes, a lot of content coming for the finale, folks, and then all roads lead to raising Kanan. We don't have any news for that per se yet, but we're going to do our coverage and we'll just kind of see how things kind of play out in terms of what other ops may be involved with that. But we'll be around for it, and I definitely want to give a shout out to everybody that came through tonight, especially everybody who came through for and donated on the super chats. We definitely appreciate you all, and I definitely gotta go all the way to my man Eric Iverson here because somebody was trying to give him smoke in the comments, and I don't know, man, but either way, man, you listen, we appreciate you each and every week. You're part of the fam here. I don't know, man. You get in the DMs, we might let you on the live next week, man. I'm just saying, just
hey, if y'all gonna have me on for 3 hours like y'all did in last year's finale, yeah, we can sub out. We can sub out like just go. We go for like 15 minutes. Let me take a quick nap and then I come back on again.
Hey, Friday is Veteran Days, man. You're not working then.
Nah,
look at that. Yeah. Y'all gonna go 24 hours.
That's right. So we taking that 4-hour recap. Nah, seriously, that's a lot of announcements. So just keep everything locked here, Big Obo. We got a lot coming down the line. Yes. Hey, Antonio Ashford, Capitol Heights, Maryland in the house. Hey, DMV love in there. Love to see it. Keemie, again, as you plugged all of your social media and stuff, anything else you want to promote or anything? And if not, just hold it until next week because we'll just have you back and see what your availability looking like.
Okay, so in addition to Chronicles of Power and my own page, please follow Private Listed. It's called PVTLSTG.
That's in the description for sure. They can click that right there.
So we do have another interview being released this week. I actually spoke to Ish from the Joe Budden podcast, so that should be coming out this week. Let me see what else is happening. Again, I'll be talking with the writers from this episode. Episode 209 this week. That will be coming out next week. So long as the scheduling works out, that should be out next week. And I am ready for the finale. And then obviously I'm gearing up for Raising Kanan. I am excited about Raising Kanan. I cannot wait to talk to you guys about Raising Kanan.
Hey, we're definitely gonna make some magic for sure. Where are you based out of? Actually, don't tell nobody that. We'll talk to you on the side on that.
Yes. Just hit
me up. Episode 210 is titled Power, Powder, Respect. This is written by showrunner Gary Lennon and Amelia Sweden and directed by Dion Taylor, who also directed episode 110. Who is also the director of the movie Fear that Joseph Sikora was in, along with T.I., King Bosch, and a whole bunch of other folks as well, too. So get ready, man, because episode 210 is going to be one. And again, as I mentioned, we will be live with you all Friday. We'll be live with you all Sunday. And we also got 2 interviews dropping as well on Friday night. So for everybody that came through today, we appreciate y'all. Y'all be safe. As always, we'll see y'all back next week for more power content. Thank y'all so much.